And we're live.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Hey, Yang Gang Book Club. Welcome to our second YGBC Talks. Today, Megan and I are joined by Jay Ferro.
Hello.
I always try to do this and I do it the wrong way first.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I live in Santa Barbara, and Jay has started Kyle's Kitchen, which is an awesome burger place in Santa Barbara, and with a really what we like to call a humanity first, because we're the Yang Gang Book Club, and one of Andrew Yang's slogan was like humanity first, and so because this month is neurodiversity. We themed it that Neurodiversity Month, so that's the topic that we're exploring in different ways. We just thought that you had a very humanity first and also a neurodiversity focused business and a small business. So yeah, we thought this was a perfect opportunity to like just hear about what you do and your mission and everything. So thank you again for being here. If you are here in the chat, I see there's a couple people. Say hi, let us see that you're here, and that would be awesome. Jay, are you actually like located in the Santa Barbara area still, or are you guys
we're
more
here
remote?
We're here. That's where is home for us, and so we've got our restaurants going, at least the ones we can, and I'm at a restaurant right now, so yeah, we're here.
Oh, cool.
Mask, or else I'd be wearing my mask. It's closed, so we're closed.
Oh, cool. Nice. Let's see who's here. We've got Silver Talon. This is our friend Silver Talon. Hi, Silver Talon. Hello, Simply Rouge.
Hello.
Thank you for saying hi. I've got Jay Ferro in the house. Cool. So we can kind of like softly get started. I just was like curious, how have you been like having to adapt with everything going on right now with current events, like hearing it from your perspective?
Yeah, well, it's I'm a restaurant owner, so I have the restaurant owner perspective, and I have a son with special needs, so I have that perspective too, so I can certainly share that. Starting with the restaurants, really, I think it was, one day about 2 months ago, out of nowhere, it felt like, we didn't know if we were going to get shut down the next day. We didn't know what was going on. I remember it. I think it was like a Friday. And then the next day, sales just plummeted for everybody. And over that weekend, as a restaurant owner, you had a really hard decision to make. Like, am I staying open, or am I staying up with limited hours? What am I doing with my employees? 3/4 of my business went away like automatically. And so that was one of the hardest times of, not really knowing what to do as a business owner. And schools got closed that day, and you just didn't know what was going on. And so, the restaurant industry, probably half the restaurants closed and half the restaurants stayed open and tried to do their best with a takeout and delivery model. And we were those for the most part, although I started a restaurant, Silver Greens, in Isla Vista, 25 years ago. And we did close that once the UCSB, closed. So we're kind of on all the ends of the spectrum and just trying to figure things out right now from a restaurant perspective.
Right. Seems like a lot of like taking it day by day, especially in the initial stages.
Yeah, and you have to do all the, hard thing. You have to let all these people go, and you don't really know when they're coming back or if they're coming back or what's going to happen. There's so much uncertainty. And then I have 4 kids, and my wife is homeschooling kind of, right? And Kyle, her son, is the oldest with special needs. He's 16. And then my youngest is 5. And so we've got, now you have all these parents who are now teachers using Zoom or other factors, and just trying to keep going, I think, and do the best you can to educate, but knowing it's like not a realistic, sustainable thing, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
it's a little balancing act, and we're, no different than other families that are doing the same thing. Other special needs families, it's a harder thing, and I don't, we have our own experiences, but special needs kids are, they're more susceptible to having immune systems that can't handle this potential virus. So there's just the fear goes up, I think. They need systems and structure, right? That's what class does, and without it, it's hard. They don't know what to do. And when you're balancing all these other things, you have parents at home, and they, maybe ones that they're still trying to work, right? And they're trying to do the normal things, and they're also trying to do school for the first time. And you have kids, neurodiversity, they're all just, there's a variety of brain injuries out there, and they all affect kids and adults in different ways, and it's just a more stressful time on families right now. I think even a little bit more so when you have special needs out there. So yeah, thanks for asking. It's a very odd time, and but we're still hopeful. I feel like we're going to get out of this thing on the other end. Hopefully we're stronger in many ways, and we just keep going. But right now there's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds fear. So we still are facing that, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It's just the uncertainty has got to be the hardest part for everybody, for the business owners, the employees. And breeds, like you said, anxiety and fear. So I can definitely see that. So now that we have some people here, would you be willing to just kind of run us through the meeting of Kyle's Kitchen story, but also Kyle's story, and how do those two things intertwine for you? And come to be?
Sure. So I got in the restaurant industry 25 years ago, right after I graduated UC Santa Barbara. So I was cool here. I was business economics. I came from Oregon. So I was like, I don't want to leave, right? And so I decided I needed to open up my own thing. And I opened up a salad place, way before kind of salad was cool or relevant. It was, there weren't the sweet greens, the tender greens, the mad greens, all those now, but there was silver greens, and that was 25 years ago in Isla Vista. And so I got, I cut my teeth really quick in the restaurant industry, didn't know anything really about it, and got to know it. And it was always from the beginning sort of healthy food. Like, how can I bring you healthy food that tastes good? That was always what I wanted to do. If you went to, did you go to Kateri? Did you go to UCSB?
I did. I graduated there a couple years ago as an English major. Yeah.
So there's really good burritos. There's really good pizza, but back then there wasn't any healthier places to eat. And so that was why Silver Greens kind of came to be. And then I've done a couple other things. I did a software company for a while. And then when we finished that up and we were selling the company, I was trying to figure out what my next step was. And that's where Kyle's Kitchen came about. It was, I still had Silver Greens, but, I wasn't really active in it. It was just kind of doing its thing. And, but I had a passion for the restaurant industry. And then I had a passion for my son, who was born with special needs. And so we sort of really just took the two and put them together and said, hey, let's make a restaurant with Kyle's favorite foods. He loves burgers and he loves salads. And we put the two together. And so we make great burgers, we make great salads. And our slogan is eat great food, help great people. And so Kyle's the face for, Kateri, his face is around. That's kind of our logo, is Kyle's Kitchen face. Here, I'll turn this thing around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You can see on the wall, right there.
I love that.
So there's Kyle. That's what I'm staring at right there. So, and the premise was, can we be a socially responsible business? Can we give back sustainably at the same time being a for-profit business? And so our model was, we're going to partner with a different special needs organization locally every month, and we're going to get to know them. We just want to understand, what are they needing? What are they doing? How are they helping? Get to know the kids or the adults with special needs, get to know the staff, and at the end of the month, we would give back a portion of our proceeds to them. And so that was a model we started right from the beginning. And since then, we've partnered with, I think, I'm looking over here because I think if I show you this, you can see my wall up there.
Oh,
Way
cool.
up top, the white stickers, those are all our different special needs organizations that we have supported over the last 6
really
years
cool.
now. And so it's very cool. And now we get to know them. And Kyle, at first it was a little bit, risky because you're putting your son's name on a restaurant. And,
Right.
we had a lot of talks with Kyle, but Kyle has special needs. So you don't really know how much he understands, about that responsibility and wanting to do it, right? We don't want to force our kid to be like the logo of a restaurant. That doesn't make sense. So, fortunately for those who know Kyle, he's super social. He loves just greeting people. Like he's our host. He's like the perfect host.
I can attest to that.
Have you met him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least like a couple of times.
Yeah. And he's he's got really amazing skills in communication. I think it's like he can communicate with people. He doesn't always able to use his words, and he's getting better, but he can communicate one-on-one with people through, body language and hugs, which obviously is hard today in this world, but he can do things differently. He has a different way of being able to communicate with people, and it's very special. And I think it's so many ways he's had to compensate for other brain injury portions, and you overcompensate in certain areas, and now you become really highly skilled in different ways because our brain is so pliable. So that's kind of how Kyle's Kitchen, came about. And, we were fortunate that the community really embraced us right from the beginning. We became really popular, won a bunch of awards, and now we have 3 Kyle's Kitchens in the Santa Barbara and Goleta area. So, it's going really well. A hard time right now for all restaurants. We're all just trying to hang on and figure out what's going on and what, strategy wise, how are consumer habits going to change? How are we getting ready for that? And, are we going to be able to get dine in? And there's a lot of questions, but, we control what we can control right now, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. So, Meghin, did you have a question? Or do you want me to?
I mean, I was actually about to ask what the community's response was, and he just you immediately answered that. Which is really cool, because I think, things are at risk, right? And so you never know how people are going to respond. So to me, I think it's super dope that people, the community loves what you're doing. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, they've been really supportive, right now. So like I was saying, every month we do a different special needs partner. And we actually about a year ago converted it to every quarter, and we were able to do more and just kind of get more dive in. And we'd also exhausted everybody at that point. So we're going back and, redoing with other people. And we were all set to do this amazing organization called Gwendolyn Strong Foundation. And for people locally, they'll know them from the Never Give Up t-shirts you may see around town. It says Never Give Up. And anyway, great organization. That's who was going to be our spring quarter. And then this happened, and there's amazing things coming. And so we shifted. And what we ended up doing is I was kind of explaining it's a little more difficult for special needs families right now. It's just more difficult. And we wanted to help them. So we are feeding them, basically. So we sort of donated 200 family meals, which means like 1,000 family members. And then we've actually also started a GoFundMe campaign. And so you can go see it. And we match it. So, somebody who would donate, $40 or something that could feed 6 people, really that means they're feeding 12 people. And
that's awesome.
we could really extend the reach. And I think we've almost 3/4 of our way to our goal of $20,000. So we're going to be feeding, 5,000-6,000 special needs families. We've already fed probably 1,000 or more of these families. So it's cool. We give them digital gift cards. Anyone who's watching this, you can get involved by, of course, donating, but almost more important than that is you can go to our website or social, and there's a button that says recommend a family. So you may be a neighbor and know, hey, my neighbor, I know they have, an autistic son and they're having a hard time. And, you can go right on there, recommend that family, and they're going to get a digital gift card in the mail. So they just have one less thing to worry about for dinner that time. And it's been great. We get to work with our partners on finding the families who need them. So they're out there doing it, but it can be anyone who can recommend a family. And so it's cool. We're really excited about this program. It helps us because I'm always looking for sustainable models. Like I love, Gofundme. I've never done it before, but a lot of restaurants did it for their employees, right at the beginning. Like, hey, my employees, I had to fire them. Please help them. And, some got some good money, may have 100 employees and you raise $5,000. So, you're giving $50 checks to employees, which is cool, but it's not a lasting solution to the problem. And so we considered that. And then we just said, hey, you know what? If we can get more business, I can hire more people. Right. And if I can hire more people, that's the goal of this whole thing. And, businesses, we're fortunate to live in the United States in a lot of ways because our government helped us out with these paycheck protection loans that you've probably heard about, these PPP loans. And I know there's frustration surrounding them, but overall, I think we have to be appreciative of the fact that we live in a country where the government helped us. And I bring this up only because part of the reason that you're supposed to have this money, you're supposed to use it to help hire your team back, right? Kind of let's get this back. But oftentimes we're sitting here, I'm sitting here and my business hasn't changed in weeks now, right? There's still a stay-at-home order. There's no real differences from the amount of people that are coming in. So that's a hard thing, right? You've been told you have to use this money in a certain way. And if you don't, you're going to owe us this money back, but you're like, I don't have business to hire people for. So there's a lot of challenges going on right now. And this was our way to say, hey, well, if I get more business, I can hire more people. And then naturally this helps me and get business back and get our employees back to work or give current employees more hours or whatever it is. So we really did this whole thing and it really like a win-win-win where we get to feed the families who need it. We get to, the donors can feel good that they're really extending their reach with how much it's only a $4 a meal. And then we win because we get to hire our employees back. And, that's a big win for us. So it's been really cool and, we're excited and kind of we're able to, take care of our own employees first. And once we did that, we had to figure out how we took care of our kind of special needs family.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty crazy how it's so interesting to learn. I didn't really know that. I had seen on the website the how what you were doing was helping these specific families, but it's so cool to hear you talk about sustainability and how you're really not just helping the families, like that's huge what you're doing, but you're focusing on hiring people back and being able to give people jobs and income. And it's like the fact that the business model is based on helping people and also providing awesome food at the same time. It's like, it's just so cool. And it,
Thank you.
Yeah. It's so cool to, like you said earlier, to be a for-profit model as well, that you're like able, especially at times like these, like you're able to get by actually helping people. It's like, I hope more people are inspired by that, and it's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's not easy. It took us a little while to figure out. We were fortunate that people took to it, and I don't know if it's just this community, that really just embraces it, or Kyle's concept could work other places. I think it could. I think you put the model together, every community is going to have special needs, and it doesn't have to just be special needs. It can be really any cause, right? What's close to your heart? Like, what can we do to help support that? And then you get those people involved in your business, and they care about your business. And if they're out there trying to decide, hey, where do I go for dinner, or where do I go for lunch? You know, when they're between a couple places, maybe the fact that you're giving back to a place, you know, something that means a lot to them, that could help you from a business standpoint. And so there's a lot of sustainable pieces in it. It's hard when you have hard months and you have you're promoting one of these great businesses and you don't have much to give them because there weren't very many profits, you know, because not everything is rosy all the time. The model can tend to break there, right? Because you're not going to give them a tiny check. It doesn't make sense, right? And so you have to kind of massage it and figure it out. And we've done that throughout the years. And I think, you know, we've given out over $150,000. So, you know, we're figuring it out, but there was no model. You know, what is the shoe company that has a similar model with food?
Todd's.
Tom's. Yeah, Tom's.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom's.
Yeah.
I was inspired by his story because it's cool. Like, you know, his model was, hey, buy a pair of shoes and I'm going to send a pair to someone in need in, you know, Africa or another place in need. And I was inspired by that. And I was like, man, can you think burgers are going to hold up if I ship them? You know, no, I wasn't going to but something like that. And so we just, you know, hey, that's where this concept really was inspired by that model, but it had never been done that I knew of in the restaurant industry. So I mean, hey, I hope others can figure out ways to do a similar model and be profitable, and hopefully we can be a template in some way for that. There's so many places that could be of need, and if you could balance giving back portion meaningfully and sustainably, which is not easy in a for-profit business, you know, but do it, you're going to win on the other side with your customers. You know, they're going to appreciate it. They're going to know it's true. At first, we didn't talk about it for like 2 years. We weren't really talking about it because we kind of had to earn our way to this place. And we don't really talk about it now much either. It's just it's who we are at this point, but you kind of have to earn your way to it for them to trust you. That's not some fleeting model and you're just doing this as maybe a gimmick or something. It was obviously, for us, we had a son with special needs. Kyle was there. So I don't think it was ever unauthentic, but it's sometimes hard to be sustainable. We can all have great ideas and have, you know, aspire to do great things, but economically, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. You're like, the numbers don't work, right? And so to get the numbers to work is not always an easy thing, but so far, you know, we've been able to do a pretty good job.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just wondering, you know, also like our community is pretty entrepreneurial minded, if that's a phrase. So from your perspective, is that
it is now. It's a phrase now.
So from your perspective, like, would you actually have any advice for like someone who would be inspired by your model if they wanted to try to do their own thing of doing that? Maybe coronavirus included or not?
Yeah, it's hard.
Generally
That's
speaking.
a hard one right now. I'm gonna have to like assume that we get back some semblance of normalcy for it, because right now you probably need just to take care mostly. But I am amazed by the stories I hear of restaurants or other small businesses who are still giving back a lot of times to essential workers and things. So it's really cool that businesses are still thinking about giving back when really, you know, you're just trying to keep alive, right? You're just trying to stay alive right now. And so once you can figure out how to stay alive, if you can then move to how can I help others, I think that's great. And I see it often, and it's inspiring to see it all without, you know, all the restaurants that I keep track of around the country that are that way. So what was your question?
Yeah, I know we got sidetracked with the mention of the coronavirus, but maybe generally speaking, just based on your experience, like we said, assuming things get back to normal, if someone were inspired by what you've done and wanted to do something similar, would you have any advice for them specifically?
It's just about taking chances. I mean, be smart about it, give it, thought, talk through it with as many people, commit to it. The hardest part out of all of it in the entrepreneur is getting financed properly, typically, right? You want it's hard to stretch your limited dollars and do everything. And right, you're either trying to build a product, a service, your main part of your business is over here, and then you're trying to connect this doing good part at the same time. And it will always be one of the first things to go, right? You have to pay your employees, you have to pay your vendors, you have to pay, rent and all the things. It's a nice to have category. So making it a must have category, is where, hey, it's just like paying rent, right? It's a payment you can make. Like I don't make money, I don't take a salary. So I make money if the business makes money, and that's after we pay everybody, like this. So it's not easy in any regard, but you have to commit to it. You have to just believe it. You have to find something you're passionate about. If there's no passion behind it, it's just hard to be sustainable because it's going to go. And for us, it was easy because I have a lot of passion towards our son. And, we lived with him and got to know a lot of our community members. So it was a fairly natural way for us to do it, even though it was really unique. But it's about taking chances. And if you fail, it's a growing opportunity. I mean, it sounds cliche, but that's just what failure really is. It's just you took a chance. It didn't work. So learn from it. Don't give up, and let's do this again. Maybe not tomorrow, but the next time it comes around, you'll be smarter about it. You have previous experiences, and that's how you'll grow and develop. And that's for any entrepreneur, regardless of a philanthropic piece. But when you add that into it, I think it becomes difficult. The positive is you can engage that group of your community in what you're doing, and so we were able to engage a special needs community, and now they're your champions as a business, right? They want you to succeed. They believe in what you believe in. And like I said, it may not happen right away. You may have to earn it. So you have to feel like I need to be in this for a little while. So sometimes that means you have to have the financing at the beginning to get through some of the bumps of launching a product or a business that may not be what you want it to be at the beginning, right? I can't just open a restaurant up and hope everyone just walks in the doors. Especially now, that could be hard. So you have to have some patience, and patience is much easier if you're financed properly or well. So but UCSB, like you said, in our backyard, and Santa Barbara City College and Westmont, I mean, there's a lot of colleges and universities right here where there's a lot of great entrepreneurial minded people here, and a growing tech community as well. Right.
That's so great. I love that your comment on basically being able, in doing what you do, you bring people along with you, and you have that trust and that actual relationship that is helpful. And also I can post some comments because we haven't done that yet. And so some people are, definitely inspired by you. So that's so cool that you shared all that. Cool. And then Ellers. Hi, Ellers.
Hey, Ellers.
Yeah, cool. I think kind of the last thing I wanted to really talk to you about is since we're talking about neurodiversity, if you could maybe touch on just Kyle specifically, of his story, and we're using the term neurodiversity just because it's a good all-encompassing thing. But based on your experience, your opinion, if you want to touch on any of that, and who Kyle is, and do you guys have any favorite books and anything like that?
A lot of. Let me tell you Kyle's story real quick. because he's inspiring to a lot of people. So he was born, so he's 16 now. So he was born with a brain injury, but my wife Dina and I didn't even know he had a brain injury at birth. He had to go transferred to the NICU for a week. So, and there was complications, but it wasn't until about month 4 when we were kind of tracking with our friends who had a baby for the first time. And it's like, why isn't my baby doing that and your baby are doing these developmental things, whether it's just seeing or, movements. Kyle just was, extremely delayed. He was blind until 6 months old. He was, he didn't crawl till maybe 3 years old, walk till like 5. It was, extreme delay. And the doctor at the beginning would just say, he's delayed. It's like, well, I mean, it's pretty significant. I know we're first-time parents and we're maybe overreacting, but there's something not right here. And, lo and behold, we got our MRI and, Kyle had a brain injury. And, hey, what's brain injury? That seems pretty vast and broad, and it is. And Kyle's brain injury is undiagnosed. So he doesn't sit into a bucket, kind of, he's not cerebral palsy, he's not autistic, he just has a brain injury. And he has different tendencies from different things. And there's, we know what part of his brain was injured. And so once we got the fact that he was brain injured, your life changes, everything's different. Like, what do you do? Your life, as you kind of foresaw it, is new, is different. You have a different path. And so, we spent a lot in the next year, just, you go, hey, where's the magic pill? Like, hey, where's the pill he takes, right, to fix the thing? Or, or what, give me my physical therapist or my occupational therapist, right? They're going to help him, he'll move. But you find out quickly that that's just, there's no such thing. The brain is so complicated, and while there may be, advances here and there, there's not a lot you could do, right? I mean, you hear from we met so many doctors at that time, and you'll even hear it is what it is, and it's like, you're just not gonna. I can't accept that. Like, I'm not going to accept it is what it is, right? And so we went for a search to find a better solution, and we came about a program called the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential, based in Philadelphia, and they were sort of like a last resort place where they took your kid and they basically trained the parents to create a program. And so you would fly to Philadelphia twice a year or 3 times a year for a week. Sometimes it was just the parents. And I would leave Kyle at home, and they would train us on Kyle and what to do and how to do it. And we'd go to school for like 12 hours a day. And we'd come back, and my wife, who was going to be an attorney, had just finished law school when Kyle was born, kind of stopped her career and said, I'm going to figure out a way to help Kyle. And she did this, like, from when you wake up till when you go to bed, 7 days a week. It was a very intensive program. And we did it for 5 or 6 years at that point. And it helped get Kyle walking, talking, respiratory wise, from a breath standpoint, diet standpoint. It just gave us structure and systems, I think, that we needed to go through this. And then once he was at that stage, then we were able to get Kyle into public school. And so he started to go to school in the special needs classes. And he's done that since he went to Mountain View, and then he went to Glida Valley Junior High, and now he's at Dos Pueblos High School. So he's a sophomore now. School is not his favorite thing, right? He really only wants to go to school because there happen to be people at school, and he'd much rather just hang out with people and talk. So this is a hard time for him. Like, there's only so much Zooming, air hugs you can do before you, like, he's struggling. He's so used to being with people, and because he's such an extreme on that side, where most of us are somewhere in the middle of this. He's a people person to such a degree that his at home, it can get nuts. So I bring him here every once in a while, but not supposed to really be here at the restaurant right now. So that's his story. And Kyle's Kitchen was born 6 years ago. And the thing about it, in our little community, Kyle's like a mini celebrity out here. Like, I'll see him, you know, and I go, that's Kyle, but he doesn't know it. Like, he just has no idea. He had the head, there's no head about it. Like, he just thinks this is what life is. And so, you know, I remember one time at the Kaya Real location, and it was like a busy Friday night. So maybe there was a line out the door, and this lady came up and she goes, is this the line to get an autograph from Kyle? This is just the line to order. But it's just funny. So people will walk by and, you know, and stuff, and hey, that's Kyle, and he just doesn't have any clue, like anyone's looking at him. And it can be hard on our family, though, because, you know, everyone sees Kyle in one way, but we see Kyle in all ways, you know. And so he can have a lot of challenges at home, and lashing out with hitting and other things that other people wouldn't see. And it's hard publicly to discipline your child, right? If your child's doing something, we all have it. Doesn't matter if you're a special needs child or not. Like, if you're in public and your child's doing something, people are watching and other things. You may not do the same thing in public as you would do at home, right? And so Kyle, it's on a whole nother level. And, you know, because people are watching him already, and he'll do things, and he knows he can get away with it because he has the teenager like mentality, right? But it just makes it difficult to do things, I think, in the public. And if he starts to, you know, have he snaps or something, and he just starts to go off it could be a diet thing, we don't know. It could be glucose. It could be a variety of things that something happens. It just puts, you know, a stress. And, you know, we've been doing it for so long, we're getting better at it. You know, but we know a lot of families, they won't take their special needs kids out. It's just not worth the risk, right? It's not worth the stress that can be created if you're out there and, you know, something happens, and how are other community members going to respond? Is it embarrassing and all of that stuff? It's all real stuff. You know, we don't worry about that as much anymore because we're in it anyway, but there's no choice, right? We're in this thing. So, but it's a real challenge for people. And it's nice when you're around others with special needs. So if you have special needs, it's nice sometimes coming to Kyle's because, you know, you do feel welcome. You do feel like no one's judging you. If your kid, you know, has, you know, a situation, hey, it's fine, right? And oftentimes you won't find that in restaurants just because, you know, you have different expectations. So I probably answered like 12 different questions.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It's so helpful. So helpful to hear your perspective, and for people who don't interact with someone with special needs on the daily. It's just really important. I'm all for, you know, giving people more exposure and more interaction and more awareness, because I feel like those, I used to work with someone with cerebral palsy. So I was like a kind of caregiver nanny for a young girl. And so I just learned so much. I was with her, you know, quite a lot on the weekly basis, and you just learn so much about who they are as an individual, and you learn how you see past those moments that don't feel normal to you as someone who's not that kind of person. So I just think, you're bringing more light to it and like making it more kind of normal, more normalized.
That's a goal of ours, like to normalize this thing. It's nothing like, Kyle's a good ambassador for special needs in that way because he's so social, and, you know, while he may not understand everything he's saying, he's easy to get along with, and not I don't know. He's not gonna you know, there's a weirdness that people have. I remember having it before I had a son, right? I mean, it's just, you don't know. It's like something different. You don't know how to react or respond sometimes to people who have special needs or their families, because you know that they're going through something hard, but you don't know what to do, right? And it's totally normal. Kyle can put you a little bit at ease. Like, you don't have to, like, you're like, all right, this guy's like kind of cool. He's got all his manners. What's up, dude? You know, and bro, does that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. And then he may ramble on about a dog, but that's okay. We'll figure that out part later, you know. And then just have your cell phone in his hand in like 4 seconds. Like, how did he get a cell phone? How did that happen? Texting your friends? I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah. So you asked about books. You know, Kyle loves dog books. Like, he loves dog. We don't have a dog. We had a dog when he was born, and he got bit right here. It's a very traumatic event. He was in the ER, had a lot of stitches, has scars, but is, you know, loves dogs. Like, has a leash with fake dog on it at all the time, and he drags it around. We try not to do it at the restaurant because it's not sanitary, but he does it at the house, and he feeds them fake food, and his dog bowl, he just talks about dogs. He watches everything. He loves dogs. And at some point we'll probably get another dog, but right now we are good without dogs.
Yeah. Tricky time to
Love
get a
it.
dog.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So does he have like books with pictures of dogs? Is that the kind of dog book you're talking about?
Oh yeah. I mean, it could be pictures of dogs. It could be Clifford the dog. I mean, it can go in any direction you want here with dog stuff. So, and then for me, for books, you know, I remember a book, and it's kind of one of my favorite books still, like right out of college. I remember picking up this book. It was new then, called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's like a self-help book, but it's just resonated with me, right? And it was kind of has a business side to it, but it was really more of like a ways that you can go through and just improve yourself. And if you do these things, and so a guy named Stephen Covey, he's written a lot of great books. And then I was thinking of another book that one of my favorites is a book called Shantaram. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard about that book. A really big book. It's about a guy based in India, and he had broken out, I think, escaped jail from Australia, and it's about his life. And it's, you know, it's a fascinating read because it's all character development. And so you have this guy, and then he's in a life of crime, and he's in a life in relationships, and then understanding just the Indian customs. And I know it's hard to explain, but it's an amazing book. And I would recommend it to everybody to read. And this is a great time to read it. It's going to wrap you up. You're not going to want to put it down.
I like those kind of books.
Yeah.
We have time. We have more time maybe to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it sounds like a great step into somebody else's shoes kind of book.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, you know, good for our theme this month.
Spirituality.
Okay, I know.
In there too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much. I know you have to get going. Let's see, what time is that? I just have one last question.
Sure.
Very important question.
Okay.
What is your favorite burger at Kyle's Kitchen?
Oh my gosh. So it used to be the Mountain Climber forever.
Okay.
So the Mountain Climber is like a spicy burger. So we have, cool thing about our burgers is we bake our bread fresh every day. So we have these like really amazing like brioche buns and honey wheat buns. So whatever kind of goes in between is usually pretty good. But the Mountain Climber is grass-fed, you know, beef, lettuce and tomato. And then we do like a jalapeno ranch, crispy onion strings, and like thin sliced jalapenos, and pepper jack cheese. So that's a really popular burger, and it's like nice. You get a kick, and it's a little different. And then, but more recently now, I've been going with the Firefighter. And so the Firefighter was named after our great firefighters here who fight fires all the time in our community. And it is similar because it has crispy onion strings, which I have to have on my burgers, but it's more like the barbecue ranch combo, right? With cheddar cheese, bacon, you know, it's more like a Western type burger. And so, yeah, that's the one I've been having to eat recently. How about you? Kateri, what's your favorite one?
You know, I'm a bit of a purist, so I generally do go with the plain burger, but I think the one the classic Kyle, yeah. And I also get like the veggie burger is really good, so like I would substitute it for the veggie patty.
Oh yeah, good option.
And it's really good. And then, but I think the mountain climber is one of my favorites. And then also I don't forget the names, but the one with the blue cheese on it.
Macon blue bacon.
Yes. Yeah. How could I forget that name? Macon.
I don't know.
Yes.
Sometimes I wonder why we name them things we name them, but you know, they are what they are.
Yeah, that one's tasty. So now I'm craving it. I'm probably gonna. I think we're going to Trader Joe's, so I might go grab
hungry.
We're right next door. Clearly, you have to go.
I'm so hungry now, you guys.
Yeah. So when Meghan eventually visits me, we'll go to Kyle's Kitchen.
Yes.
Let us know. We'll take care of you guys.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we would love that. That would be awesome. So thank you so much. We will post the link as well to your GoFundMe in the description and tweet about that. So everyone can see and hopefully participate. And you can go ahead and log off because we're actually, if you have to get going, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So everyone say bye to Jay. Say thank you.
Thank you,
we'll
everyone.
See you around town, hopefully, eventually.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Jay.
Take care. Cool. So, awesome.
Housekeeping.
Thanks, everyone. I know we weren't able to be as pulling up the chats as much because Jay did have a time.
Yeah, he had a time constraint.
Limit. Yeah. So thank you for all you for being here and for the comments. Thanks for the time. I'm doing quite a bit this evening. Oh, that's awesome. Me too.
Me too.
Thanks, Chaz, for all your amazing comments. I saw them, but this time, unfortunately, we didn't have as much time.
Yeah.
So let's see. Did you write these down too, Meghan? Do you want to go take turns?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like he was answering all of our questions so well. I was like, we don't even have to ask him a lot.
I know. Yeah,
he was very like articulate, and his passion came through really well, which was cool. So yeah, just some general announcements for you guys. I guess I'll start with the things that we do know for sure. So if you guys have been tuning into Twitter, which please turn on notifications for us. I know we keep saying that, but I feel like we get lost on Twitter sometimes. So we are doing Tyranny of Kindness as our book for next month, because we are kind of partnering with Scott Santons, and so he suggested this book, but it is kind of hard to get a hold of. So make sure you guys are looking for that now. There are no more copies on Amazon. We've sold them out. Which is kind of cool, actually.
When you think about it.
Yeah,
cool for you guys.
Yeah,
it's cool for us.
Yeah, cool for us. From a book club standpoint, that we sold out Amazon. But I have searched around a little bit. So if you guys want to DM us, I have a few links of like thriftbooks.com, I think, abooks.com, and a few others that you can find it. Oddly, I think the hardback is cheaper than the paperback for some reason on a lot of places. So yeah, if you guys need help with that, please don't hesitate to DM us.
And I brought my copy. So this is the copy of the book, and Meghan has the hardback copy, which doesn't have the cover, so I'll show mine. So this is what it looks like. It's by Teresa Finiciello. We're hoping that's how you pronounce her name. We'll find out. We will find out. Oh, did I suggest something? Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Next live stream is happening. So we have announced, if you didn't catch it, we've announced that we're working with Curtis Bunker. He is a Yang Gang. He's on Twitter. Some of you might know him and follow him. Who he's publishing neurodiverse oriented children's books and a video game.
Yep.
It's freaking cool. We will be posting about it throughout the rest of this month, plus over the next 2 weeks. So we'll look out for some of the cool art. We'll be posting his links. I think we'll post one today, actually. And so we're actually having a live stream, and they are actually offering to live stream the book too. So we can have like a mini read a book together and discuss it, essentially. So yeah, that'll be really cool. Hopefully we can do that on this platform. So if not, we'll just post a link. But that's the plan. So that's happening May 23rd, Saturday, May 23rd at 1 p.m. Be there. We'll see you.
Yes.
And then Megan, do you want to plug Wednesday?
Yeah, because that's my favorite. So don't forget for our hashtag Wednesdays we write. Don't forget about that. This week, I think we're doing a different kind of prompt, which is going to be fun. And for Wednesdays we write, I want to make sure you guys know that this isn't just for poetry. We love the poetry for sure. And that's like the easiest thing to do on Twitter. But we also accept stories and essays that you can send to our Gmail, which is ygbookclub@gmail.com. I think we post that pretty often. My phone just went dark. Okay. I couldn't see the screen anymore. And then Wi-Fi problems. No Wi-Fi problems. So yeah, we're gonna make sure you guys are looking out for that prompt on Wednesday. And eventually the hope is to then read those poems and stories on our Yin Gang story time. So make sure you guys are looking out for that. We have some incredible writers in the Yin Gang. So also tag people that you think should write something too. I know Chaz is really good at that. He tags people all the time. But if you guys think someone should participate, tag them. We are always looking for new writer friends and reader friends.
Yeah, super cool. We have a lot of fun things planned for that. So just keep tuning in. Turn on your notifications. Please. And then the last thing to just sort of plug is, so, overall Neurodiversity Month, your friendly reminder that we're doing articles. So, there's no book for this month. Please make sure you have the articles. We've only released one, but we will be releasing another one this week. And then we will be releasing maybe more than one the next week, because we're going to be partnering with this amazing writer. Sarah Kerchak. Right?
Yep.
You say the last name Kerchak?
Yeah.
So we'll post more about that. You'll see that. And then the meeting will be the last weekend in May, and we'll announce that. So just please be on the lookout, because this is a really important topic, and we really hope that you guys tune in, and even if you might not feel like it fully applies to you, there's so much to learn about, I think, humanity when we learn about the people who kind of are at the margins, and who aren't, by the way, like Andrew Yang said, really, it's the new normal. It's just the outlook that I think we've been programmed to have. So that's why we're trying to change that. So yes, I think that's everything.
Yeah, my stomach just growled.
It's time for burgers. I also forgot to mention they actually have ice cream at Kyle's Kitchen. They have really good milkshakes. So if you're ever in the area, there's 3 here. So look out for the GoFundMe. And this was an amazing live stream. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. We will catch you on Twitter and on the next one.
Yeah.
All that burger talk.
I know.
All that burger talk. Let's get some burgers, guys. Okay.
All right, guys.
Cool. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.